Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we will continue to look at the different types of crypto coins and tokens on the market today, as not everything is a copy of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's learn some more widely used terminology. An altcoin is a cryptocurrency that isn't Bitcoin. So Ethereum is classed as an altcoin. However, despite the fact that there are tens of thousands of non-Bitcoin cryptos in existence, they're not all generally considered altcoins. Investors usually only consider serious, well-established non-Bitcoin cryptocurrencies to be altcoins. What about the other cryptos, the less well-established, less serious cryptocurrencies? Well, those coins get referred to as shitcoins. I kid you not. So, we have Bitcoin, then altcoins, which are credible non-Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, and the rest are shitcoins. Well, that's the naming convention taken care of, but what about the utility of these coins? What are they used for? Well, you have different genres of cryptocurrency that are grouped according to their utility, how they are used. So let's look at those different genres. First, I want to discuss stablecoins. As you know, Bitcoin fluctuates in price. Ether on the Ethereum network also fluctuates in price. Stablecoins, however, do not. Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that are always worth the same price. These cryptos do not fluctuate in price based on supply and demand like Bitcoin does, and they always remain at, or very close to, the value of a real-world fiat currency, such as the US dollar or the euro. Some of the popular stablecoins today are Tether USDT, or USD coin, USDC, which was developed by Coinbase, one of the biggest companies in cryptocurrency today, and DAI, DAI. Stablecoins evolved to enable crypto users to move US dollar denominated payments across cryptocurrency networks. So, how do we use stablecoins? How are they used? Well, they are used just like currency, but on a blockchain. Stablecoins are commonly used by crypto traders that buy and sell cryptocurrencies routinely. When traders sell a crypto, perhaps they hope to rebuy it again at a lower price. Then they will sell that coin for a stablecoin and hold the proceeds of that sale in stablecoins until they wish to make another purchase. This allows them to store money in cryptocurrency without being exposed to market volatility, and without needing to use slow and expensive bank transfers to move funds between their various trading accounts, because a stablecoin transaction can generally be completed in minutes, whilst a bank transfer can take days. So, if you had $1,000 in Bitcoin that you wanted to keep in cryptocurrency and hold for a period of time, but you did not want to risk that money losing value, then you could convert that Bitcoin into stablecoins, and it would always be worth $1,000. This lack of volatility also makes stablecoins very useful for making payments. For example, if I wanted to send $500 to the freelance editor who works with me to develop these lessons, I could send $500 in stablecoins to my editor as a form of payment, which, as it happens, is exactly what I do. Now, of course, I could also send a $500 worth of Bitcoin or Ether, but by the time my Bitcoin transfer was received by my editor, the price might have dropped quite a bit, and that payment may be less than the $500 she was expecting. So by using stablecoins, we avoid price volatility. Of course, I could just send $500 from my bank account as well, but cryptos are generally just faster and easier to use, as you will soon see. Now, one important point to note with stablecoins is that some of them are backed, or pegged as it's called, at a 1-to-1 ratio using actual fiat US dollars. What that means is for every $1 in stablecoins which exists, there is a fiat dollar sat in a bank account somewhere to maintain that peg. So just as many fiat currencies used to be backed by gold, some stablecoins are backed by fiat currency. Now, some other stablecoins are backed by a variety of assets, such as US dollars and a basket of other cryptocurrencies. Investors that use stablecoins often refer to the risk of a stablecoin breaking peg and dropping in value, which, if it ever did happen, could wipe billions off cryptocurrency investment values. Tether, USDT, is a stablecoin that is the subject of much speculation regarding its backing. The company which runs Tether has consistently refused to release any audits of the assets which underwrite the value of their stablecoin. So whilst USDT is a very popular stablecoin for making transactions, many in the crypto community distrust Tether to the point where they do not hold any sums of money in Tether for any long periods of time, just in case it ever does break its peg and drop in value. Now, I personally consider Tether perfectly okay to use for one-time transactions, but if I ever want to hold money in a stablecoin for any length of time, then USDT is not my choice. I personally prefer to use USDC or DAI to hold in my portfolio for any length of time. Now, as stablecoins are pegged to real-world fiat currencies, then inflation is a consideration. Fiat currencies are worth a little less every year due to the effects of inflation, and this, of course, also applies to stablecoins. So, if you plan to hold money in stablecoins for any length of time, then there are actually some investment options we will discuss later in this course, which can earn you a decent, low-risk passive return for those stablecoins, which can help offset any loss of value for inflation. But we'll deal with that later in the section on investing. Well, that's stablecoins. Now let's discuss privacy coins. But before I discuss privacy coins, we need to have a discussion about KYC, Know Your Customer. People will often accuse cryptocurrency of being used predominantly for illegal purposes. And indeed, several years ago, there was a website on the dark web called the Silk Road, where you could purchase illegal drugs, weapons, or other items in exchange for Bitcoin. This accusation of Bitcoin being a haven for anonymous illegal purchases stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about cryptocurrencies. In general, people think that the transactions between crypto users are anonymous. And in fairness to those people, Bitcoin's use was more anonymous in its early days than it is today. However, as you know, every Bitcoin and Ether transaction is actually public information. If you know the wallet address being used by a person, then you can see that person's cryptocurrency balance and all of that person's crypto transactions via a block explorer. What you can't see on a block explorer is the identity of the person who controls the wallet address. By the way, two of the most popular block explorers today are blockchain.com for Bitcoin and Etherscan for Ethereum and ERC20 tokens. So if you know that a wallet address belongs to me, then you have the ability to audit all of my past cryptocurrency transactions. Therefore, crypto transactions themselves are not anonymous. Now, in the early days of cryptocurrency, it was almost impossible to link a wallet address to its owner's identity, which is why Bitcoin was and is still wrongly considered to be anonymous. This is increasingly no longer the case, as governments worldwide are busy changing this state of affairs, which has led to the massive implementation of KYC checks in the crypto space. KYC stands for Know Your Customer, and when opening a new account to purchase or trade cryptocurrency, it is common for you to be asked to provide a copy of ID, such as a passport or a driver's license, and a recent utility bill to verify your home address. Also, if you deposit a large sum of money into a trading account, then you may need to also provide additional information in order to prove that you came by that money legally. Now, of course, KYC is not just prevalent in the cryptocurrency space. KYC processes are widely used in the finance industry and are also necessary if you buy anything of value for cash. So if you try to use cash for a large purchase, such as buying a home, an expensive car, jewelry, or exchanging large amounts of foreign currency, the seller in most countries is legally obliged to ask you for ID and to report that transaction to the relevant government department. Now, strict KYC measures came into place internationally over the last 2 decades as governments tried to stem the movement of billions of dollars of illegal drug money into the legitimate financial system. When you initially convert fiat currency into cryptocurrency at a cryptocurrency exchange, this is called the on-ramp, and it is at this point that your identity will be established, so that if ever necessary, all of your crypto transactions from that point onwards can be audited. When you convert cryptocurrencies back into fiat currency, this is referred to as the off-ramp. And if you're converting a large sum of crypto into fiat currency, you can expect to have to prove that you came by those cryptos legally. Now, cryptocurrency users in general have a low opinion of companies which ask them for KYC details. And online, you will often see people discuss privacy concerns and make comments that the government whichever government it happens to be, have no right to that information. Sadly, this is not the case. Yes, of course, you have a right to privacy, but unfortunately, that does not extend to the relevant authorities whom you pay your taxes to. And as such, I do not recommend that you buy cryptocurrency in order to keep money hidden, particularly from the taxman. The ability to keep crypto-based funds confidential is being reduced all the time by increased legislation from governments around the world. As blockchain transactions are never deleted, then historic transactions that took place years ago, when people thought they were safe and anonymous at the time, are now starting to come back and create issues for them as their identities eventually become linked to that historic activity. In fact, a few weeks before I recorded this, a very strange story had hit the news concerning a married couple who had been arrested in New York and charged with laundering $3.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin in question was stolen or hacked from a popular Asian cryptocurrency exchange back in 2016. Back then, the haul was worth some $700 million. Still a lot of money by anyone's standard. Today, those coins are worth over $4 billion, and $3.5 billion of that was recovered by US authorities who had been tracking the accused couple by their publicly available blockchain transactions as they attempted to launder that Bitcoin into cash over the years. So, due to ever-increasing KYC checks in the industry, whilst this couple were Bitcoin billionaires, it was incredibly difficult for them to spend any significant sum of the Bitcoin they had hidden away without giving away their identities. In the end, they were reduced to buying gift cards at Walmart, the retail store, and buying electronics, which I understand they would then resell for cash. So, just like cash, you're going to have to explain yourself if you start to move large sums of cryptocurrency around the world. Oh, as an aside, if you're a fan of rap music, then go to YouTube and look up the music videos by the wife of the accused couple, who goes by the stage name Razzle Khan. And whilst you watch those truly awful videos, please keep in mind that this person is accused of laundering $3.5 billion. Life is truly stranger than fiction sometimes. Anyway, this increasing KYC pressure to identify cryptocurrency users has led to the development of the privacy coin. Privacy coins, as the name implies, evolved to enable users to send cryptocurrency transactions from A to B without those transactions being publicly auditable information. The most popular privacy coin today, in terms of market cap, is called Monero, which has the trading symbol XMR. And Monero has a current market cap of around $3 to $3.5 billion. Monero is a crypto coin, not a token. So Monero uses its own network of nodes and miners. It does not use the network of another coin in the way that ERC20 tokens use the Ethereum network. Now, if you send Monero to somebody, then unless you tell them who sent it, they cannot tell that that money came from you. If someone knows your Monero wallet address, they cannot see how many payments have been sent to that address or who sent you those payments. Now, the Financial Action Task Force is an international multi-governmental anti-money laundering watchdog, which is quite a statement. And they have demonized privacy coins over the past several years for very obvious reasons. This pressure has led to many instances of crypto exchanges delisting privacy coins such as Monero and refusing to offer them for sale to customers. And frankly, this is only to be expected. If your cryptocurrency business model is designed to allow people to participate in truly anonymous financial transactions, then you're going to have a hard time getting reputable financial institutions to deal with you. Now, if you choose to use privacy coins, then converting those coins back into fiat currency at some point could well be increasingly difficult for you. So yes, there are a lot of people using Monero today for widespread anonymous financial transactions. But in the future, those transactions that they consider to be anonymous may come back to haunt them if their identities are ever linked to them, even years from now. Ask Razzle Khan how she feels about her identity being tied to old cryptocurrency transactions that she once considered to be anonymous. If you use privacy coins to evade taxes, then this will always be a possibility for you too. Personally speaking, I would suggest that you avoid using Monero and other privacy coins, even for perfectly legitimate transactions. Because when it comes time for you to declare your taxes, the ownership of any such coins may be a red flag that leads to more and not less scrutiny from the authorities. Even if you always use privacy coins in a legal and law-abiding manner, it may be difficult for you to prove that and justify why you used cryptocurrencies designed to be anonymous for legitimate purposes. Now, many in the crypto community would strongly disagree with that advice, and they would quote their fundamental right to privacy. And I have more than a little sympathy with that argument. But if you find yourself being audited by the taxman because you've used privacy coins, even for perfectly legitimate reasons, then you have only yourself to blame. Saying that, it is of course your money, and you're free to do as you please. Now, let's end this discussion about privacy coins by quickly discussing privacy networks, which, unlike privacy coins, have many potential legitimate uses. Privacy networks are purpose-built blockchains designed to allow transactions whose details will be hidden from anyone unauthorized to view them. The transactions aren't hidden from everyone. They are hidden from anyone unauthorized, which is an important fundamental difference. As we've mentioned several times earlier, a blockchain can store any type of data. So what other types of data could we store and transfer on a blockchain that might have a legitimate need for privacy? Well, what about your personal details? Your name, email address, age, medical history, phone records, credit card purchases, and so on. Companies such as Google, Amazon, and Facebook make billions every year from using that data, which you provide them for free, often without realizing you're doing so. And they sell that data to other people. If that data was tokenized, i.e. saved on a blockchain, then you could control who could access that information, what they could do with it, and who they could redistribute that data to. Now again, this is a concept that can be difficult to grasp at first. But in the same way as only you can transfer some of your Bitcoin balance to another blockchain user, if your health records were saved on a blockchain, only you could send that information to somebody else. Currently, if your healthcare records are saved on an insurance company database, then you have no way to control who can access your information. The widespread use of blockchain-based privacy networks is admittedly many years away, if it happens at all. However, some data, such as healthcare records, are currently being tokenized and saved on blockchains in some healthcare systems worldwide. And access to these records is only accessible with your permission, or the permission of someone else you delegate, such as your doctor. If someone does request some or all of your information, you can approve or reject that transaction. And you can also limit that person's ability to reuse your information. And all of this is controlled by the blockchain. Furthermore, this data can be compartmentalized so that you can give one person access to only some of the data without them needing to see everything. For example, if you go to a chiropractor for a slipped disc, he or she does not need to know that you also see a counselor or a psychiatrist. Privacy networks are purpose-designed blockchains that allow developers to build applications on top of them that are designed for data secrecy. So I am going to end this lesson here. We've discussed stablecoins, privacy coins, and privacy networks. And in the next lesson, we will continue our discussion about the different genres of cryptocurrency by discussing the hugely popular NFTs. But as usual, if anything is unclear, please rewatch the lesson or reach out to me and get in touch with your questions, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. I'll see you in the next lesson, but until then, thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.